What's up, mother, father, brothers, sisters, daughters, sons, and cousins, others? How are you today? It's another episode of Lotek Health with Brad Burns. Today is Let's Talk Tickers and Taco Tuesdays. Let's talk tickers. Let's talk love and cardiomegaly, broken heart syndrome. It's called Taco Sobu. And it's that feeling of your heart dropping when you miss someone you love. I miss someone right now. And it's hard. It's hard to know they're somewhere and you don't know how they're doing. And if you let that feeling get too strong, it can give you a form of heart failure, cardiomegaly. Unbeknownst to the Grinch, when he let his heart get 3 sizes too big, he died of heart failure. He's not supposed to have a heart that big. No one is. It's supposed to be a certain size. Your heart is like, I've said before, like a tomato. It's like the inside udder of the body, sending milk to all the right places. It's a beautiful thing. We have a pacemaker, the sinoatrial node that starts at the top, jumps to the atrioventricular junction, and pops to the sides, in between, right there, between the top and the bottom part of the heart, and then goes to a bundle of his, and then the Purkinje fibers. There's nothing over there for me to look. I've looked off to the left because that's where it is in my brain. It's up and to the left, and through this, your heart beats blood to the lungs to get oxygenated, and blood to the body to feed oxygen to it. It's a wonderful thing. It's kind of crazy to talk about, but each blood vessel is important. It's absolutely necessary to get blood and oxygen to it. It's all about perfusion. That's why being big is hard. I may have mentioned it, but every pound of body fat is another 7,000 miles of blood vessels. Let me repeat that. 7,000 miles of blood vessels to innervate, which sounds insane. It doesn't sound right, but check it out. It's right. So 15 pounds, most people are over. That's doubling your vascularity. You start at about 100,000, and then 60 pounds, you're going to the moon and back, something like that. It's kind of crazy. It's insane. But try to reach out to those people, because your blood is traveling the expanse of the country, east to west, on a regular basis. Your heart wants to reach out. We want to belong. We want to treat others with love and dignity and respect and gratitude. You want it, even if you think you don't. You do. You do. You love people. That's why I don't like this back and forth, this vitriol that people have in hospitals between either day shift, night shift, I've mentioned, or between the nurses and providers. Yeah, so what? You may be smarter in some aspects, in certain ways, in knowing how the hospital industry works, but it doesn't matter. You need to respect their training, respect the hierarchy of their decision-making power, because you are, if you are like me, you're just a nurse, as I've been told before. It's okay to be just a nurse, because I get to leave them at the hospital. These providers, they gotta keep answering the phone. Don't call me in the daytime, or, well, may call me at night when I'm there, but don't call me when I'm asleep, when I'm at home. You gotta call those providers. So a little level of respect for the stress that they have to go through is important. And this understanding that they're learning. It's cool to be at a teaching hospital, but it is just as much of a learning hospital. Doesn't sound as good to call it a learning hospital. Nobody likes to think that in healthcare, someone is figuring something out on them. But it's called a practice for a reason. It's not perfect. It's a practice. We're not at Carnegie Hall here. And it's cool as a nurse knowing that and being able to help people calm down, chill their ticker. As if we're going to talk tickers, we can talk about troponin, which is a cardiac enzyme that rips when the heart starts to feel some possible damage, which could be from a number of different things, not always from what we call a STEMI or a heart attack. ST elevated myocardial infarction, which will show on an EKG, a 12-lead EKG, where they put all these little buttons and try and triangulate throughout your body what your heart rhythm is doing, that SAAV Purkinje, or his Purkinje, because we can tell where it's not working very well because it takes too much time. This ST is the last part between the heart depolarizing, the ventricles depolarizing, which is that squeeze, and then repolarizing, which is relaxing, and the diastole, whatever, it's Latin, I don't know what you call it exactly, it's dead language, you can say however you want. But it's with a STEMI, a true heart attack, it'll show on there, and a lot of times it's the LAD, or the left anterior descending, or lateral? Yeah, left anterior descending, the widowmaker of the heart, get into that left ventricle, and it's not working very well. We can get in there with a heart catheterization and put a stent in. I don't do that, but cardiologists can. We can in the hospital. And this patient was told by, a newer doctor that she probably had a heart attack. And what happens when you're told that? You start to freak out. I'm anxious. She's got a kid. She's already got Crohn's. She's dealing with close to being a short gut syndrome, where they keep sucking part of her body out and resuturing and sticking it back together in her guts. And she's being told, you're having a heart attack. Am I? She had an troponin of 0.074, and it went down to 0.05. Crohn's stricture. It's just a little oxygen not getting to the right place. She may have some cardiac damage, but she didn't have a heart attack. They call them non-STEMIs, which again, I'm not your provider. I'm not telling you you're not having a heart attack. But in her case, I was telling her that she wasn't having a heart attack, because he said, as she was freaking out, she's like, I need you to calm down. I think you're still having one. Like, chill out. Are you going to take her to the cath lab? Can you just say what I said, maybe in a better way, that she's lacking perfusion from what's going on in her gut. She's not getting blood to the right places. May not be a heart attack like in the movies or in the shows where she passes out and dies and won't get to see her kids again. Nobody likes to hear that. So let's talk tickers. Taco Tuesday. Try to get them to explain it. It's easy to freak out. But when you freak out, it freaks them out. And what do? A lot of times, as providers, as healthcare professionals, we revert. We introvert. We don't go into your pain because we have to protect ourselves and not follow you down that rabbit hole of anxiety. With that, a lot of times we'll go with these bad habits of doubling down and not explaining exactly well what's happening because, well, it's difficult. It's tricky. It takes time. So this has been my Let's Talk Tickers and Taco Tuesdays talk of the day. I hope I've maybe brought some new attention to your heart, and hopefully you check in and see how you're feeling. Maybe reach out to those you love. And thank you all for listening. Again, I'm Brad Burns, and this is another edition of Low-Tech Health. Let ourselves translate expert knowledge. Let's Talk Tickers, Taco Tuesday, signing off. Thank you.